Shabby from LineDotArrow from the Netherlands, and today I am doing the video for the Love of Paper Facebook group. It's from Karen Gibson, and she did a call out, I believe it was in June or in May, I'm not sure anymore, to have guest designers in July, for Christmas in July, on Thursdays. And today it's my turn. And I created a little something to play with because I wanted something different to play with than I usually have designed or work with already. But I'm not going to show you, well, maybe I'm going to show you real quick the papers. It comes in A4 size and also in US letter size. But yeah, the video is supposed to be about what I create. And it has 5 ephemera pages with little bits and bobs that you can work with. And it's in soft pink and soft green. There are tags. You can layer tags. You can embellish the tags. And then I also have background papers. These are printed on regular copy paper. And these are printed on not very white paper. It's little yellow tones. But this is one of the pages. This is one of the pages. This is one of the pages, and this is one of the pages, and I believe I forgot one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I forgot this design. I think I forgot to print it. This is one of the other designs. It's just plain brown design. Not sure if you can see everything. I hope you can. But anyway, I will do a video for my Etsy listing, and you can watch it in the Etsy store, because I really want to create something for the the guest designers project for this week. Obviously I do need to cut out a few of the elements, and I'm going to do that real quick, and it's going to be like a voiceover video, because I usually go off and then craft for like 4 hours. And I can't put a video out with 4 hours of footage, and no one's going to watch that. So I'm going to try and make it as short as possible, but still show you the process. To be honest, I have absolutely no clue what I'm going to create. I will start with cutting out the elements, and then I hope it will come to me. So I will be back. For you it's just a second, but for me it's going to take a while to cut out all the elements, but you will see me in a bit. I cut out a few elements by hand, and the reason I did it, because I also have a scan and cut, is to show you that when you have the black lines, you can, if you cut on the inside, you can remove them, so it's not in your face. But I have a scan and cut, that's why the lines are very handy. I printed this on the same paper that I printed the ephemera pieces on. It's a little bit more yellow, and I also had a mess up with the printer, but that's okay. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do really. Because I also had a paper bag that I wanted to create a journal with. I found it in my stash. I thought maybe I can use that. Still thinking about it. I might need to do that. I'm leaning towards this paper. Okay, let me work on this. So I'm taking the bottom part of the paper bag apart so I can lay it as flat as possible. I take off the handles, but it's optional to put the handles still on, leave them. Folding a page in half to see what size the cover is going to be, and now I'm going to cut the cover to size. And it's a lot of refolding. And I'm going to glue one side of the openings completely shut. It's going to be the back side. And I'm going to fold it again. And now I'm going to cover it. But I glued it on the wrong side, so I have to switch it around, because I want the opening on the front side, not at the back side. And I finally managed to sort of align it up with the paper bag and glued the image on the front cover and the back cover. So I got my scoreboard out, scored the middle line, and also 4 lines on the left and 4 lines on the right. And now I'm just going to slightly bend those lines to make a rounded spine. So I did some inking, and now I'm going to do the exact same process on the inside, but this time I'm scoring on the paper that I'm going to glue on the inside of the cover, and I'm just going to fold those lines. So I'm gluing the inside on the inside cover, the inside image. Do some inking, gluing, and I'm going to eyeball it. I'm not the type of person that measures a lot, so I do a lot of eyeballing and a lot of use of your bone folder so you can make it as flat as possible. And also want to glue this part of that opening shut so it's solid. I'm also gluing down the sides of the paper back. That gives it more solid edges and it gives a little bit of sturdiness. And on the front side, I'm going to put in a little paper to reinforce the pocket a little bit. So I'm actually making it a little bit smaller, but I'm going to stitch on the sides of that front side. So it's going to be okay. It's going to be small enough to fit something in, but sturdy enough too. And I have 2 embossed envelopes, and I'm going to create pockets of these. I'm going to ink them. And I'm also using a little bit of darker ink. I don't know the name anymore. I will try to link it down below the video. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to ink the edges. And these are going to be turned into pockets. And I'm also going to do some sewing. So one is going to be on the front side, one at the back side. I did some sewing around the journal cover, obviously not on the pocket. And here I'm just snipping off a little bit of the paper back to meet the border of that reinforcement paper. And I'm gluing it a little bit more closed. Doing the same on the other side. And I need to ink, of course. I also did some sewing on those envelopes, and now I'm going to glue them on the front side and leave an opening on the top, of course, to create a pocket. So you basically have a double pocket, the actual envelope and one at the back. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And I have 2 elements from the kit that I ink, and I'm going to put that on the envelope. Actually, I'm going to put this on the right side. So it's going to be sort of a closure for the envelope flappy. And I'm going to do the same with a heart-shaped element on the left side. And you should leave these open to dry, otherwise you will glue them together like I actually did. But I managed to make them get them open again. So now I'm looking for something to put on the front to make a focal point, a journal topper as we call it. And I'm choosing the girl as a focal point and some other elements from the paper also. But first I need to do some inking. I'm using that one. And normally I use my scan and cut, but today I didn't. I thought I'm just going to cut out what I'm going to use. And I'm start layering the elements. And I want to add a doily, and I'm trying different sizes. But I go for the first one. And I'm looking for a paper that I can put behind the doily. So I'm gluing it on a piece of vintage ledger. I'm just going to rip around the doily with my edged ruler. And after that, I'm going to do some inking on that ledger. And I'm trying to decorate the front piece, but I don't want to lose too much of the image. So I thought, well, maybe I cut it in half. And I'm just trying different things. And now I'm thinking, just glue it down. Usually it works out if I just glue it down. So I'm still working on the front piece, adding book papers to give it a little bit more interest. And layer a little bit more of the book papers. And I have another piece of doily that I want to put on. Tried it even as a tab. And then I thought, oh, I need to make a binding. So I found this in my stash. Most of the fabric elements, doilies, laces are from Two Sister Jam. They sent me a huge package for my birthday and also for the retreat papers. So I'm using that. But I do like what I see now. Oh, I liked it in the video too because I'm going to glue it on to the cover. Just a little bit more glue. And the closure is just long enough. Adding also a little bit of the more pink mahogany ink. And I'm going to set the ribbon with an eyelet. But make sure you only punch the front piece of the pocket, not the whole pocket, otherwise it's closed. But I had a little bit of struggle to get it in. And I'm doing the same thing on the back side to make sure the closure is going to sit tight, and it's also adding a little bit of interest. Now I'm just selecting some papers to create an insert. So folding the papers, and I need to cut down at the end a little bit because otherwise it's too big. And this one is a little bit printed. This one piece is printed on a sturdy paper, so I'm going to merge these together and create sort of a cover for the insert. Cut off the white edges because my printer had issues, so the paper went in a little bit wonky. And here I am making all the papers to size. I also added some different papers. I even had a paper bag in, but I ended up taking it out. And over here I have all the papers in the right direction, which is not all the papers because I had one upside down. You will see later in the video. And I'm just going to poke 3 holes. And so this insert together with a green wax thread. Start in the middle, then from the outside top to the middle back, and repeat the process on the bottom part. And just going to tie it together in a knot. Well, also make a little tie on the outside of the middle hole and then go back to the front. Now I have to make sure this insert is going to be stitched into the cover. And I also add a little bit of a doily, not a little bit, a small doily. And I'm just going to fold it in the middle and use some paper clips to hold it down. And this is going to be with 2 stitches, so 2 holes actually in the middle of the other ones. So this is to attach the signature to the actual book cover. You can also do it in one step. I
I basically forgot to stitch it to the cover. That is why I'm doing it in 2 steps. And I'm merging the threads together so it's solid and tight. So I got the signature in, and now I'm just making it as flat as possible, turning the papers, and then I realize this one is upside down. The one with the scripts, the same one I have on the front cover and on the back cover. So I have to go back and do something about it, and I decided to collage things on it to cover up my mistake. And I know a lot of people do this, and I thought I would never do it again because I did so many times in the past. But well, when you do in a video, you still manage to, well, turn one upside down. So I'm adding a little bit of lace also on that paper to make it into a collage piece, covering up, well, the upside down pages. I'm embellishing a tag. I'm going to put the tag onto the paper. And I'm going to put in an eyelet and use some of the seam binding that I received also from the two sisters in that huge package they sent me. And it's the right color of green. So I'm so lucky to be able to use it. And I'm just going to completely glue it down. I'm not going to turn it into a pocket or anything. I'm just checking to see if I want to do something on the other side, but I decided not to. Then I wanted to add a eyelet into the doily, so it kind of sits on the front and the back cover. And since the front cover was a little bit shorter, I needed to use the large Big Bite, the Crocodile, the Big Bite. But I had a struggle setting the eyelet, and I did the same on the back side of the insert cover, but that went well with the normal Crocodile because that piece was a little bit longer. And now I'm going back to the tag. So I have a floral piece that I ink. I'm going to glue it onto the tag, but I'm not going to glue it exactly on the tag, but a little bit also on the lace to give it a little bit more interest. And I'm going to cut out that little piece because it's very fragile. And also cut a little bit from the strings and adding a little bit of glue. Now I'm going to create a tag to put in the front pocket. I will start with a piece of lace. And it's going to be a layer tag. You could sew over this one too. I didn't do that. Also use the oval shaped tag, and also going to add a frame. And that frame is not in this kit. It's one of the other papers I created, but I really liked how this went with the Shabby theme. I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to add some dried florals, dried flowers into the centerpiece of that oval shaped tag. And I'm just pressing it with the lid so it stays flat. Add the wording. And add a piece of book paper. So I changed the book paper to a longer piece because the other piece was a little bit short, and now I'm using a brad. I'm sorry I'm out of frame, but I had a struggle opening the brad, so I picked another one. But I'm going to put the tags together with the brad so it swivels and you can still rotate and write on the back side. And also need to take a little bit from the top of that book paper, and now I'm putting it into the journal on the left side. And I'm also adding a little bit of that seam binding by just hooking it underneath the bread on the front side. Yes, and as I explained, I glued the pockets together, so I had to wiggle a little bit to make it open, but it worked. And now I have to create a tag to put in the pocket on the back side of the journal. I want to use those words, and I'm also going to cut out one of these. These are vintage Christmas cards, and I'm going to add it to the tag. I'm going to attach it with a eyelet on top of the tag and do some inking so you can swivel and still write at the back side. Going to put this on a little bit of book paper to give it a little bit more interest. Do some inking and glue it on. And of course I need to add that seam binding on this tag too. And you can put it in the back. Now something is missing on the front, so I'm checking to see what I can add on the front. And I want to use the word remember. I'm going to glue it onto that paper. It's also in the kit. Do some inking and glue it on.
So this is what I created, a journal from a paper bag. And now I realize I forgot to make something to slide into the pocket that I created on the front cover. But yeah, you can slide something in here. This is the front side. It's not screaming Christmas, but it is a Christmas kit. Tags with lace on the back, and it can move. And you have a pocket over here, but it is a very fragile envelope. So yeah, if I would working it, I think I would just leave it. Doily on front of this hardcover on the outside, and different papers on the inside. And this one I collaged, of course, because I sewn it in upside down, which is a common mistake to make. And I make them too. Coffee dyed papers, I coffee dyed them myself. Papers from the kit. A book page. The center spread. And this is upside down too, but I decided not to cover it up. Maybe I can do it later. We will see. The doily over here. A pocket on here. Sorry, a tag. It's not a pocket. And a tag over here. And this is the back side. And it closes like so. You can even tie it into a double knot. Yeah, and this is it. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I used a new small paper kit. It's Mini Shabby Christmas, 10 pages. It comes in A4 and in US letter size. And I will link it down below this video. But yeah, the project for the Facebook group for the love of paper as a guest design team member in July, and today is my day, is creating a paper bag journal. So I hope you liked the video. Maybe you want to leave me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. I love receiving comments. And if you're new to my channel, maybe you want to be a subscriber. I do a lot of different things. I do collaboration with other people, with other Facebook groups. I work with other kits, but I have my own kits too. And I have Facebook groups. I have 2 now. They are linked down below, LineDotArrow and Dutch Junk Journal Crafters. And I also have a design team. I have linked here down below too. And there is also a Facebook group, community. We work together and we run challenges in the Facebook groups, and I have a link below this video from the challenges too. So yeah, this is really it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay creative. Greetings from the Netherlands, and I hope to see you the next time. Bye bye. Bye.